there are some books that I would highly recommend for you. One is the Darwin Awards, because it's funny.
Yeah, I love it.
It's about people who have, you know, it's the guy who's drunk who says, "Hey, watch this!" And he's no longer in the gene pool because those were his last words. Another one which I really like is Your Inner Fish. This is the one by the discoverer of the Tiktaalik. And I think you don't want to have your... No?
No, have you given them?
Yeah, they're for you to keep. Another one is called Genome. It's an exploration of your chromosomes one at a time. So he talks about chromosome 1 and then chromosome 2. And so he goes through 26? 21. No, we must go farther than that. So he has one chapter per chromosome. And so he touches only on a little bit. He goes through 22, since we have 23 pairs, one of which is the sex chromosome, one pair of sex chromosomes. He only goes through 22. You can guess what this one's about, since we're talking about genetics. It's about the Y chromosome and how it developed and why it is the way it is. Another one that I really enjoy is Jerry Coyne's. He covers a lot of ground. This is fun. This is a book of genetics as seen by an alien from outer space. And it's in comic book form, but I've marked some of the pages and highlighted some of the things that are very, very true. But this is a very easy thing to read and get knowledge without really knowing that that's what's happening to you. Because the aliens are, they multiply by just dividing. They don't have sex, which is the thing that combines chromosomes and gives us such a wide variety of human beings. So they come down, they're degrading, their population is dying, so they come down to Earth and they want to study it. Why is this the way it is? And it's a fun read. If I had to pick one, I would probably pick this one, The Relics of Eden by Daniel J. Fairbanks. And the reason I mention that is that I think I told you once before, people say, okay, you say we're related to monkeys, but monkeys only have 48 chromosomes, and we have 46. How could we possibly have common ancestors? We would spit out the two. Okay? Well, on page 20, he explains what happened. And I'm going to do it in a very, very limited way. Chromosomes, at some point, have what's called a centromere. They have a place where the microtubules can attach and pull them apart during division. So, in humans, we have chromosome 2 with a centromere about here. I'm just going to indent it a little bit so you can see it. And in chimpanzees, this is our chromosome 2. Chimpanzees have a chromosome 2 that looks something like that, 2A. And they also have a chromosome that looks like this, which is labeled 2B. I think you can guess what's happening. This fuses with this. So you now have, I should have done it in different colors. I'm going to do the human in red. Two. What happens in the end? You take this and you fuse it with that, and you end up with something that's long, like that. It has a centromere here. And there's another centromere located about here. This is inactivated. This one's active. This is the human chromosome 2. And what they've done is they've sequenced these, and guess what? These two sections are identical. These two they are homologous. They are so similar that it is expected that the genes in those areas would have similar functions. And there is a centromere that can be identified by the sequence of the DNA, but it doesn't have, it's mutated, so it's not active. So it's clear from the DNA evidence that humans and chimpanzees at some time had an ancestor that split off here and split off here, and the split into the human direction was partially caused by this fusion of chromosome 2, which I think is just, it's like the killer app. I mean, the DNA matches. You can't argue with this, and there's only one way it could have happened if you are looking at it from an evolutionary point of view. Okay, good. I was going to try and take breaks and give you a chance to ask questions, so I'll take questions now. Anybody? Did you all get your DNA strands?
Has the property of time, period,
right,
ever been, I don't know how to say it. How important has it been to the development
of the evolutionary theories? Very important. That's why I started, I think the second class, we started talking about cosmology and how we think how old the universe is and how old the Earth and the Moon and meteorites and asteroids are, using the radioactive dating, like the uranium to lead or the krypton to argon changes. And we know that some of those things are billions of years old. And it's important for evolution because, remember, when Darwin wrote Origin of Species, they knew nothing about inheritance. They knew nothing about genes. They knew nothing about DNA. Mendel's work had been printed, but nobody, it wasn't taken up by the scientific community. It was essentially rediscovered decades later. So although Mendel is, heralded as the earliest geneticist, so to speak, with his wrinkly P's, his work didn't contribute to Darwin's theory. But Darwin said, in a human lifetime and in my lifetime, my father, my grandfather, going back as far as human history, it looks as if humans have been pretty much the same, and animals. So it looks as if it would probably take a long time for evolutionary change to occur. That was part of his theory. And that was a big deal then because we knew the Earth was 4,004 years old because the Bible told us so.